We just saw the release of patch 7.3, which drew the Dawn Trail storyline to its conclusion. And by tradition with an X.3 patch, we got hints of what's to come in the form of a cutscene, which introduced a revelation many of us were not expecting. I did a livestream to explore this cutscene and what it means for the future. Both me and those viewing the stream put our heads together, and here's what we came up with. First, the Ascian. We don't get enough hints to identify this individual, however we can surmise it's an Ascian overlord, 5 of which are currently unaccounted for. These overlords disappeared right after the time Elidibus was taken off the board. This is also the same time Fandaniel went rogue and formed the Telophoroi, and it looks like this Ascian, or Ascians, have formed another such splinter group. Thanks to Japanese translations, we identified this group's name as Winterer, and Calyx appears to be a member of this organization. In Calyx's own words, his plan failed because he had to rush before he was ready, because of the developments of his peers in Winterer. What these plans are is never explained, but there appears to be a master plan in the works, with Calyx and his peers having specific parts to play. For Calyx, his part is the acquisition of the key, the artifact that enables interdimensional fusion, and as we know, he failed. For now. But he'll likely try again very soon. Myself and viewers like you tried to piece together this master plan, using all the data we had available, which includes every interaction with Calyx and Ascian movements over the last decade. And this is the master plan we came up with. With the fall of the last Unsundered, and later the destruction of Zodiark, all subsequent plans for the Ardor, the Ascian's name for the rejoining, seems to have gone out the window. The Ascian overlords, while strong, don't wield power and abilities on the level of the Unsundered, so they couldn't continue the rejoining themselves. It's then that we realise what they might be after, and how Calyx fits into the equation. The plan of Winterer is for the Ascian overlords to be reborn as their original incarnations, with whole complete souls and their original memories. The overlords were just regular people who were gifted the memory of their original incarnation. To be specific, the memory they were gifted were the memories the 3 Unsundered had about their former Convocation members. Now here's the master plan step by step. First, they recruited Calyx, a person with the knowledge necessary to harvest souls thanks to electrope technology, and most importantly, knowledge to recover and transfer an individual's memory. Preservation and Calyx perfected the technology of removing souls from others, stripping away their memories, and later the technology to transplant memories onto a soul. But this was not to be Calyx's only contribution. He was tasked with recovering the key, so the Ascian overlords could use it to travel to the other reflections. Recall back to how Calyx was interested in Azem's incantation, the one for summoning individuals from other locations. Calyx may have identified his incantation as a method of summoning the incarnations of the Ascians from other reflections. Either way, the process will end up being the same. Using the key or the incantation, Winterer planned to kidnap these reincarnated versions of themselves from the remaining reflections. Next, they will use the soul cell technology we saw in 7.3 to extract their souls. Once they have access to these souls, they strip away the memory from them, and finally unite these soul fragments with themselves. Cast your mind back to Shadowbringers, how Ardbert's soul was able to merge with her own. The reason this worked is because Ardbert was lacking a living body. The same process would most likely work for the Ascian overlords as well. By doing all of this, the Ascian overlords would become much more powerful, akin to the Unsundered like Emet-Selch or the Amarotians of ancient Aetheris, and by extension, gain full access to creation magic. But the process would not be over yet. The final part of their plan would be the recovery of their original memories of the Convocation of 14, which reside in the Ethereal Sea. With Hydaelyn gone, the sea has lost a guardian, so they would be capable of performing this action. Then, utilizing Alexandrian technology similar to those used in the Regulators, they would transplant those memories onto the newly reborn souls, which would then mark the full rebirth of many members of the Convocation of 14, who would have an alignment with the Ascian cause. Having 5 or more ancients with the power levels akin to Emet-Selch or Elidibus would be a major threat, and could mark a renewed conflict that could span an entire expansion. And it's fair to say that would cause a lot of damage in the process of performing these acts. So, what do you think of this theory? Let's have a discussion in the comments to further refine this idea. Or perhaps all of this sparked a new theory in your own mind? Let us know that as well. I'm excited for the future, especially as it seems to be aiming to bring us to Mericidia or Blindfrost, and maybe to the other reflections. 7.4 will launch around December, so I can't wait to find out.